right, everybody. Welcome to the inaugural edition of the Gamefira podcast. Basically, what we're going to do is once or twice a month, we're going to get together with the Gamefira crew and kind of talk about the latest topics in gaming. Every now and then, we'll try to have some guests join us and do some interviews. Tonight, I'm joined by Justin.
Hello, I'm Justin.
And Austin.
Hello, I'm Austin.
And so we're basically just going to go through a couple topics and talk for a couple minutes, and hopefully it's entertaining. So I guess first up, we're going to talk about Justin's topic. So what is that?
Tonight we're going to be talking about Nintendo's recent announcement for its upcoming release of the new model of its Nintendo 3DS, Nintendo's handheld gaming console. Called the Nintendo 2DS.
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 Yay.
Its selling points are it's essentially a Nintendo 3DS without the 3D feature.
Yeah. So there's a lot of controversy about this issue, mostly from the Nintendo haters. It seems to be a trend that I've noticed. Your Xboxers and Sony fanboys really like to hate on Nintendo.
Yes, I do.
So, yeah, Austin happens to be one of those guys.
It's very flat.
So Austin, since you are on that side of the coin, what about the 2DS doesn't work for you?
I wouldn't want to carry it with me, honestly, anywhere unless I was just in a road trip or something like that. The fact that it doesn't fold up just is a pain. Look, it's just ridiculous looking. I know that their target market was, younger kids and stuff like that, but
exactly.
I just don't see myself or anybody really having an enjoyable time with it, just because. Plus the button layout. If you look at it, the right
buttons
they're a
little high.
Yeah,
I think
it'd be kind of hard to even play a game without dropping it a couple of times.
Well, I think mostly, I don't think you're really going to be walking around with it. It's like you said, it's not targeted towards those older gamers. It's not targeted towards us. So, it's a little bit different design. I've got my reasons why I think they did it. Justin, what's your take on the 2DS before I go into my spiel?
In its defense, as far as its design is concerned, I'll admit I have the original 3DS, and I do a rather fair job of treating it like a newborn baby. I haven't snapped the screen, or where it folds in half. I haven't snapped that yet. I've noticed, like with younger gamers, that tends to be a problem. With the 2DS, I don't think that'll be such an issue now.
Yeah, I think that was one of the main reasons they went with the design they did. Okay, so being a dad, I guess I'm the only one on here that is a dad, but
yes.
And I guess all three of us own a 3DS, so it's not like we're 100%. Anybody here is a Nintendo hater per se.
Yeah.
So kind of, to me as a dad, it made sense right out of the box. As soon as they announced it, I got it, which I can understand. A lot of gamers don't see it the same way because it's not targeted towards your hardcore gamers. It very much is targeted towards a younger audience. It's very much targeted towards family. Being an owner of a 3DS and having smaller children, I can tell you firsthand that they want to play on my 3DS all the time. But I'm always worried about them breaking the hinges, which is a bad problem with the DS designs. Getting the screens dirty, whatnot. It's just so. What Nintendo made a model that is sturdier. I mean, it's really made for little kids' hands, and also, another part of that is it's more like a tablet, and especially in schools now. I know, all the classrooms that my kids are in, they use tablets every day for learning, so it's more familiar. And also, obviously they took out the 3D aspect because, like you said, it's for younger kids. They don't need the 3D. It can actually damage their eyes if they're, under the age of 6. So like I said, it totally makes sense.
Yeah, I was gonna touch up on that too. I had forgot to say anything about it. I can't really play too long with the 3D on because it hurts my eyes. So
Exactly.
It makes my retinas bleed. I mean, what do you do about that?
See, I personally love it. I love the 3DS or the 3D feature on my 3DS. It works really good for me. I've always loved the 3D effect, going all the way back to the Virtual Boy, which I know I'm in the minority there.
I don't know what that is. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I know.
You are pretty lonely.
I am a fan of the Virtual Boy. I'll just put that out there. But like I said, a lot of people can't play 3D, but there's a ton of great games on the system. Also, look at Nintendo's target audience. Nintendo's target audience is family and younger gamers. And that's exactly what this system is targeted to. I think, out of all of the major manufacturers of systems, your Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, PC, really Nintendo is the only one that has really owned that family niche. And, that's how they make their money, and they make money.
How dare a video game company want to make money?
Exactly.
How dare them, those raging capitalists?
Why do they market to kids? Because they know that's who's gonna buy.
What was the original price? Was it like for the 3DS? Was it $200?
$240 was for the original.
So this
3DS
is
model.
half of that price then.
Well, okay. At the moment, the 3DS is what, 160, 180.
Okay.
At the moment, for a new 3DS.
I believe it's $159. So
okay.
Well, for the regular,
it's still a small price drop.
We're looking at 120
exactly.
at the moment.
It's more economical for families.
Holiday
right
season's
before the
coming up.
holiday season. It's good for kids. So who is the biggest buyers at holiday season? Parents of children. Dude, Nintendo is going to make bank. And say what you want about Nintendo. It may not be your console. It may not be your company because, you're a more mature gamer. You're into the, Call of Duty, whatever. But that's not who they're marketing to. Nintendo makes money hand over fist by marketing to the families. And I believe on the 2DS they're going to continue to do the same, and I can't blame them.
And at the moment, I would say Nintendo has the handheld market.
Oh yeah, I don't think there's any arguing that. I mean,
despite the Vita having a recent price drop, I don't think it's going to be able to compete with the 2DS in the holiday season. What it looks like next year, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah,
I mean, the PlayStation Vita, I have no problems with. Is it the system for me? No.
Right.
Why? Because I want to have a system that my kids can play games on too. Which there are some on the Vita, but the majority of games that are marketed towards kids are going to be on the 3DS and on the Nintendo console. So naturally, if I have to choose where I'm going to spend my money, it's going to be with the company that's going to give me more bang for my buck. Because, there's plenty of great games that I love playing, plus an awesome virtual console, plus games for my kids.
Right.
So for anyone who's just joined us, if we can recap on what we're talking about, we're looking at Nintendo's upcoming new 2DS. Its major selling points are the lack of the folding feature, the lack of 3D. We're also looking at a rather decent selling price, $120.
And look, as much of a champion as I am for Nintendo, I will right now admit it is not the handheld for all gamers, and it's not meant to be. If you want 3D, if you want, portability, you've got the 3DS. You know what I mean? Or the Vita.
I don't think I would never even think about getting Vita, honestly. When I do handheld gamings, I know what kind of games I want to play, and really there's no type of games that I could see myself playing, out on the road, wherever I go, on, while I'm not in my house. I wouldn't be playing the Vita.
Yeah.
I would be playing a Nintendo.
I agree. I agree. That's why I haven't bought a Vita. I think that's why a lot of people haven't bought a Vita.
Right.
And that's why their sales aren't where the 3DS's sales are. But that's just my opinion. It's whatever. But anyway, listeners, please please give us your feedback on this topic, and tell us what you think of the 2DS. Is it good? Is it bad? Let us know in the comments section. And I think it's about time to move to topic number 2, which is going to be Austin. Tell us a little bit about your topic, Austin.
All right, I'm going to touch up today on the PS Vita TV, which is a very tiny, I guess I could call it a console for your Vita games, and I believe it's for the, what's the other console called? The other handheld console?
You can play PSP games on it.
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah.
it's somewhat backwards compatible.
It's kind of like, if you guys have ever had a GameCube, which I know half of you have, there was a port that you could connect to the bottom of your GameCube where you could hook up your GameCube game or Game Boy games and pretty much play those. You can
play Game Boy Advance games. Yeah. I haven't read a ton on the Vita TV. I've kind of gleaned over the specs and everything and kind of what they were talking about. But I honestly haven't looked too much into it. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the Vita. It's one of those things, like Justin and I were talking before. It's kind of cool. I think it has some cool features. So basically, just to kind of describe it for anybody who hasn't seen it, you can go find the information on it. But it's basically the same hardware as a PlayStation Vita with no screen and no controls. So basically, you Bluetooth a PS3 controller, or you can buy a bigger bundle that comes with a controller.
Yep.
And then you use a HDMI cable to connect that to your HD TV. And you can play Vita games, and like we said, it's somewhat backwards compatible with PSP games. I'm not sure if it has a UMD slot for the older PSP games, or how. I don't know how that works. But anyway, so it is somewhat backwards compatible. You can play, but so that being said, from what I'm reading, it's not compatible with all Vita games.
Right.
Interesting.
So I mean, I don't know.
Let me just put this out there. I said earlier that I wouldn't necessarily buy a Vita or PSP, either one, because I'm not really into those kind of games. But I did have a Game Boy Advance, and I loved the feature where I could play it on the TV. I think I even had some friends over one night. We all connected our Game Boys together, and then I connected mine to the GameCube, and we played the Four Swords on it.
Yeah, that's actually a good example. But we were talking about a product that was released, 2002?
Right.
2003, 2004,
Yeah,
and then you didn't really have the advent of online gaming the way that we do today.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Is
exactly.
That to be able to play the games that you play while you're on the go, you can sit at home and play them on a bigger TV. I find it a really good experience. It's a lot. It actually is a lot different feel from playing on the smaller screen. It makes.
I can imagine.
Yeah, and it's a lot funner. It's a new experience almost, and I think it makes the game a ton funner. And I just want to read up on something that I had found earlier to let you guys know this. This might be a selling point if you are a PlayStation fan. Sony recently announced that PS Vita TV set, could eventually deliver PlayStation 3 games directly to a television through like the cloud system. So, eventually you might be able to just straight up download stuff to your PS Vita TV that is, PlayStation 3 games.
Okay, so let me bring up another subject right there, and this is kind of one of my major issues with Sony and their handheld gaming systems. So, from what I have read, the entry point on the Vita TV is around $100, right?
Yeah.
And then the bundle with the controller is about $150. Which, if you don't have a PS3, you're gonna have to get a controller. So let's say either way, $100, $150, whatever. So let's just take, for instance, that download service. To do that, to be able to utilize that, you're going to have enough memory on your system. Right. Now, it's not going to come with that. You're going to have to buy memory cards from Sony to save those games to. So this has been my issue, with Sony, with the Vita and everything else. They don't use, or they won't take, generic memory cards. You have to buy proprietary cards from Sony. And that's fine and dandy if they didn't overinflate the pricing. The pricing for Sony's memory cards are 2-3 times as high, easily, as a regular memory card. I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous. And to me, it really comes off like they're really taking advantage of players in that sense. I believe I read that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe that I read that there's going to be a 64 gig card available for the Vita, which is about how much you need to put on, a decent library of games.
Yeah,
Sure.
Because each game, you're looking at least a gig, if not several gigs for, a full game. So a 64 gig card for your Vita TV, $100. So that's the same price as the system itself, just for the memory card.
Yeah, I get the whole deal that's going on with Sony and Xbox right now. They're fighting over the money and all that. But yeah, I agree.
Well,
I don't see the price. I don't agree with it at all.
It certainly doesn't feel like they're trying to sell a affordable gaming device, to be
No.
honest.
No. And okay, so we've got that issue. What are some issues you might see with it, Justin? Anything?
Well, if you have the money to throw at it, don't let us tell you what to do with your money. But I would say,
Exactly.
you might be better served just buying a PS3 if you want to play the PS3 games.
that's a very good point. If you want to play
Um,
PS3 games, I don't just buy a PS3, especially since the price is probably going to drop with the
very
release
soon.
of the PS4,
Very soon.
which is going to be in the next 6 months or so.
Yeah, sure. Well,
Well, we'll see.
We'll definitely have to see. I know plenty of people who have already traded in their PS3s to get trading credit
Yes.
for their PS4.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks too. By the way, I mean that's all great because you can get some decent trading credit for those systems, but then you got to go for 6 months without a system,
Absolutely.
unless you also own a 360 or a Wii U or something else, which most gamers do. But I'm for a lot of gamers, that would suck.
And for some of us who already have PS3s, and like I said, I really don't see too many more PS3 titles coming out, in the long run. I don't know. Would people want to have to, rebuy those titles after they've traded in their PS3?
I'm
just play those
almost
games
certain
again?
they would. I feel like
Some,
that would have to.
it really just depends. It depends on how much money people have. Me being a parent, I don't have, I have to be pretty selective on what systems and what games I buy because, I don't have a ton of money. I got kids. So, for me, I don't buy every major console release. I don't, in fact, if anybody out there who knows me knows that the majority of my money on gaming goes to retro gaming, but, the handheld market is probably where I've spent the most money in modern gaming, just because of the convenience level. But, so we've got those issues. Like I said, it's not a bad product. It's not an amazing product. I don't think the price is bad. My one big issue is the price of the memory card. I think Sony should come down off those or allow third-party memory cards to be used that could be manufactured a little bit cheaper. But that's just my opinion.
Which you know how people are. I bet you could search around, and I don't know if we're supposed to say this, but I'm fairly certain that you can search around and probably find something that's compatible with it that's at a much cheaper price that might not be.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some kind of hack for it, but whatever. So what else? Okay, another issue that I just thinking about it, earlier I was like, okay, so at the same time that Sony announced the Vita TV, they made another announcement. Actually, the Vita TV was on the tail of the announcement of the newly redesigned Vita that's going to be re-released in different colors, and it's got some other options, blah, 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 blah. Lower price point, in time for the holiday season, I guess. It's whatever.
Yeah.
That's expected. So my question is, if they're releasing a new Vita, and they're releasing the Vita TV. Why didn't they just allow the new Vita to have the same functionality to output to an HDMI?
Gotta make that money. That's all
I mean, really.
That's.
I mean, that's just. I mean, I don't. Maybe it does have that functionality. You know, it could very well have that functionality also.
But if it's cheaper than the regular PS or Vita, you know, I don't think it would.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't. In essence, it is a portable gaming system, and you can't really play the Vita TV on the go. So, I don't know. It's just one of those products. It's kind of weird. I can see it kind of being cool if you have the money to spend on it, but at the same time, you know, for my money, if I was gonna spend, you know, a couple $100, I'd just go ahead and buy the new Vita.
Right. And while we're still on the subject, just very quickly, I would like to add on that the only really cool function or, you know, thing about the Vita TV is that you can play your games on the go, and you can take that same game that you've saved, go home and play it on the TV, like we had said before.
And that's, you know, I'm not saying that's not a cool feature. It is a cool feature. I mean, it is.
I mean, and I'll actually try to give a good point. You know, for a lot of people who are worried that, you know, if they happen to trade their PS3 in, you know, how are they ever going to play their PS3 games again? At the very least, I mean, it looks like they're trying to make money off of it, but Sony is trying to get some kind of alternative for people who still want to play PS3 games.
Right.
Do I think they're doing that a little too soon? Yeah.
Well, they're basically outdating their own console while it's still on the market.
Right.
But hey, like I said, I'm not a Sony guy. It's not my console of choice. If I do modern gaming, it's either handheld or it's a, you know, Xbox. So, you know, that's just my opinion. You know, so before we move on to the next topic, you know, please guys, leave us same thing. Check in the comments area. You know, give us some feedback. What do you think of the Vita TV? What do you think of the new PS Vita? Also, you know, let us know what you think, and we'll address those issues on the recap on the next podcast. So, I guess third and final topic here.
Can I do a drum roll?
Yeah, go ahead. And the winner is Mighty Number 9. Woo! Mighty Number 9. So, I mean, I don't know any gamers that probably haven't heard about this.
If you haven't, look it up right now.
If you haven't, you've been out of the country or something. I don't know, because it's one of the biggest things going on in the gaming world right now. Huge deal. You know, Mighty Number 9. If you don't know,
It's a lunch special.
it isn't. It's not. It's basically a Kickstarter right now by the creator of the Mega Man series. He's also created tons of other games. Just some off the top of my head, the Dead Rising series. Anyway, long-time Capcom employee, left about a year ago, and you know, had a difference of opinion with Capcom, which I don't think anybody can blame him. And so he started his own company, and he's kickstarting, you know, this project. He's done a couple other projects already. I think he had a 3DS title that came out. Haven't played it. But so basically what Mighty Number 9 is, it's the spiritual successor to the Mega Man series. Why isn't it Mega Man? Because Capcom owns the license to Mega Man.
What did Mega Man end at, like, number-wise?
Oh, well, there's several different spin-off series.
Not X, just regular Mega Man.
Well,
Main flagship series.
I heard it ended at Mega Man 8, and then this is Mighty Number 9, so...
No.
Well, yeah,
we'll
have to back up on that. 10.
Yeah, they had 10. They had 10 entries.
Okay.
10.
We'll get to the title naming here in a quick moment.
Yeah.
So
basically, you know, he's taken the same concepts of his, you know, I mean, Mega Man for, and I'm not going to pronounce his name right, Kinji Inafune.
Asian names are.
I'm going to
And I'm Asian.
Yeah, Justin knows.
Justin's Asian, and he can't even pronounce it. So anyway, so you know, Mega Man is kind of his baby, you know, and so he's gone to Kickstarter, he's crowdfunding this game, and it's so far it's going to be released on PC, Mac, Linux, and if he reaches a stretch goal, it's going to be a console release downloadable. So, and I mean, he's got 20 days left as of the recording of this, and I believe they're about 150,000 away from reaching that goal.
How soon did he hit his goal in the first place? Wasn't it after like
Second
2 days? Yeah, that's
Third.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if it was a full 24 hours.
For those of you that don't know, his goal was $900,000.
$900,000.
He passed it by what, 100,000?
Yeah, and by the second day, he had already reached his goal and was on, going for the stretch goals. Right now,
way to go, Capcom.
Yeah, last time I checked, it was at about 2,046,000.
And I haven't even helped out yet. I'm going to.
Yeah, and to reach the level where it will get a console release on 360, PS3, and Wii U, it needs 2.2 million. So, I mean, they're very, very, very close. Like I said, they're only 10 days in.
Yeah.
Austin's going to sell chest hair to make up the difference.
Hey, I'm going to back it. I'm going to back it.
I don't have much, but I'll sell it.
I don't know about you guys, but Mega Man's a huge series. I loved the Mega Man games as a kid. I still own most of the titles on the NES, all the way up to Mega Man X series. I own a couple of those on the the Super Nintendos where that started. Huge Mega Man fan. I mean, and I guess the trouble has been Capcom has started and then dropped several Mega Man titles over the past several years. We had Mega Man Legends 3 was the last one, which was, I think, kind of the nail in the coffin for Inafune. It was supposed to be released on the 3DS. Tons and tons of fan support for that project. It was actually going to be, the fans were going to be able to put input in and, design some of the characters. And it was this whole thing with the launch of the 3DS, and Capcom killed it. Before that, there was Mega Man Universe, I believe, was the tentative title, which was going to be a modern Mega Man console game. It's going to be downloadable. It's going to have all kinds of extra characters you could get, and you could create your own character. Really cool-looking title. They had a tech demo out. Capcom canned it. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know if you guys have any theories on why. It doesn't make sense to me, being one of Capcom's flagship titles, why would they keep killing this series? I know a lot of fans out there are perplexed by Capcom's decision to not move forward with the Mega Man games.
I love learning things with you, Chris.
Thanks, Austin. I appreciate it.
I didn't know any of this.
Okay, well,
and for anyone who's might still be wondering what the big deal is, this game will utilize the typical Mega Man formula of having 8 different levels that you can tackle in any order. At the end of each level is a specific boss. To get your said boss, you have to fight through waves of enemies. There are platforming elements. You can steal abilities from enemies, the boss is included, to help you get through the game. And at the end of the game is a final boss that is unlocked after beating all 8 levels, which is characteristic of the main Mega Man games.
That was not so familiar to me at all.
Yeah, well, and the main thing about the Mega Man series is rock, paper, scissors. It's every boss has a special power that's attributed to them, and then once you kill them, you get that power. Every other boss has a weakness to a specific weapon that you gain from one of the other bosses. So you kind of got to plan your strategy. You got to kill this boss first to get the weapon to kill this boss, and that's been one of the cool things about the Mega Man series. You start out, you can pick which level you want to start out on. Unheard of, pretty much, back in the days when Mega Man was first came out, and I mean, it's just an amazing formula. I mean, and Mega Man is such a beloved character. I mean, he's got so much, for being a non-speaking protagonist. He's got so much character, and I mean, the fans just love it. And Beck, who was the new main character, Mighty Number 9, He's not Mega Man. He's not the Blue Bomber.
He may look very, very similar.
He's very, very, very
But he's
similar.
not.
Now, to try to give a general plot overview, Chris, what exactly does his name sound like a launch special? So we have Mighty Number 9. Apparently there are...
Apparently he was the 9th robot created in this series. So the bosses that you'll be fighting will be Mighty Number 1, Mighty Number 2, and so on and so forth as the series progresses. Some of the other stuff that they've announced through the Kickstarter because of their launch, like I said, they started off, it was just a PC release. One of their first goals was a Mac and Linux. They reached that, so for everybody like me who doesn't use a PC, uses Mac, you can get that version of the game. Then after that, I think they've announced Boss Rush mode, which will allow you, after you beat the game, to go through and fight the bosses back to back to back, to challenge yourself. What's some of the other stuff that they've announced?
I really don't want to get it confused with the title that Way Forward is working on. Between that one and what we're currently talking about,
Yeah.
I do know that depending on which stretch goal is met, we're looking at possibly, we're talking
PlayStation.
character costumes, maybe, or I might be thinking of Way Forward's title.
I'm not 100% sure. They've announced a bunch of different stuff. Oh, making a documentary. That's one of the goals that they reached. They're going to do that. There's all kinds of goals and reward. Go back this game. I mean, if you're one of the few gamers that hasn't, I think there's over 35,000 last time I looked, people that have backed this. It's gonna come out.
Please
Now,
help me meet the stretch goal, because I really don't want to play it on the PC. I have a 360 sitting here.
I want to play it on the 360. So I'm hoping it. I think it will. It's only got, like I said, about 150 or so thousand left. I think it's going to easily hit that in the next 20 days.
When this happens, does it have a set release date already?
2015?
Yeah.
So with a huge budget and such a long development time, we can expect a high-quality game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these guys... Inafune knows how to make a game. Look, every game that, he's come out with, that I've played, I've particularly enjoyed. The guy puts a lot of passion into his games. He does good games. There was a reason he was one of the head designers at Capcom, because he's good. Just seeing the Kickstarter video and just the stuff that they've developed so far, the tech video and everything. Right. This game looks amazing.
Could it be Duke Nukem Forever? Possibly. We'll put our money on.
I wouldn't bet on it.
Let's not talk about that game.
Ever. I wouldn't bet on that. Look, I'm a big fan of Kickstarter. I like what they do. I think they give a good, they've put together a good platform for independent and smaller game companies, and even, companies like Way Forward that really can't be considered small anymore but that's where they, kind of started out doing, some big stuff. But it's a great launch pad, and it allows the fans to really pick and choose what they want. And I think, with Mighty Number 9, fans have shown what they want. They've put over $2 million towards this game.
Yeah, seriously, guys, if you haven't watched it yet, go to the Kickstarter page and watch the video. It'll make you just automatically want to back the game if you haven't already.
If you're a retro gamer, like me, if you're a modern gamer, it doesn't matter. It's going to be great for everybody. I don't know if, everybody loves the Mega Man series. Everybody loves that style of gameplay. I say everybody. I know there's people that don't, but obviously it's a very popular, gameplay mechanic. Side-scrolling has been a staple of the gaming industry forever, and I don't think there's anybody that can do it better.
I feel like... Go ahead.
No, you're fine. Go ahead, Austin.
I was just going to say, I feel like, honestly, the huge Mega Man fans have completely forgotten that because of this game, they've forgotten that Super Smash Brothers is going to have Mega Man in it.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, that was big news. That was big news a month or two ago. But now, I think you're right. Everybody's kind of forgotten.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that is very characteristic of the Mega Man titles is my difficulty. Chris, do you think this will be a difficult title in the same vein as the...
I think they're going to have options. With the last couple releases in the Mega Man series, 9 and 10, specifically, I think 10. I'm not sure if 9 for sure had it or not, but anyway, they've had easy modes. So, you've got your normal mode, you've got your hardcore mode, you've got your easy mode. I think it really just depends on what kind of player you are. Yeah, the original titles for the NES are pretty difficult. I mean, they're old school hard. Is kind of the term. But I think, they've realized that a lot of younger gamers and some modern gamers just can't meet that level of difficulty.
I play on easy. I do what I want.
Sad but true.
I'm down with you, Justin.
Sad but true, a lot of gamers just can't meet that level of difficulty, so I think they'll add that option. It'll be an option to play on easy. Will I use it? Probably not.
I don't take failure very well.
I want the challenge. I want the challenge. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to beat the game in a day and then be left with nothing to do. I want to
get your money's worth.
Yeah, I want to get my money's worth. I want to play and have to figure out the strategies, and that's what I look forward to in games like this. It can get really frustrating, but for me, and I know for a lot of gamers, that's one of the upsides to it. I think there's a section of the gaming community that's kind of gone more that direction with the Dark Souls game that came out a couple of years. That was another one of those games. It's hard. It's really hard.
I like my hand to be held.
You had to bring that up, didn't you?
Yeah, Justin is one of those people that likes his hand to be held, and I do on occasion. If it's a game if it's a game that I don't have a lot invested in, that I don't really care about, I just want to get through and have some quick fun. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, I care about the game, but I'm not gonna get so ticked off that I break 3 of my controllers on the difficulty that you're gonna be
self-control, Austin. Self-control.
I don't have it.
So real quick before we end this, one more thing that I think is in the back of a lot of gamers' heads with this project, and I think everybody's hoping for the best. There's always the possibility that Capcom's going to step in the end and try to kill this.
How would they go about that?
Well, it's a copyright thing. I mean, I think Inafune is he's done the right thing in changing the name, and I think he's in the right. I don't think they'll have any ground to stand on, but that doesn't mean that they won't try and hold this game up in the court system for a year or 2 years or indefinitely. And that worries me. That would suck for Capcom to step in after the fans have stepped up and put money to put this game together. If Capcom comes in and runs it, it's just going to be a bad deal.
Yeah. Hence one of the reasons. Go ahead again.
We're such gentlemen. I don't think that would be a very good PR move on Capcom's end. No. I guess they could, but I think they're a little bit smarter than that.
I would hope so, but like I said, with the moves that Capcom has made over the past couple of years, I don't think anybody can, argue with the fact that they don't seem to want to cater to the fans. That's just my opinion. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that share that opinion. There's some that probably don't, but it just seems to me like they really don't care. People want to make a man game. They won't give it to them.
Yeah,
that's where we are.
My God. Anyway, that's what
Denied.
Go ahead, Austin.
I was gonna say that's one of the reasons I brought up the Mega Man thing with Super Smash Bros. The fact that everybody's pretty much forgotten about him even being in the game. I remember when I first saw that, I was super stoked. I was like, finally, it's not a Mega Man game, but we're gonna get to play as Mega Man.
Exactly.
As soon as I saw that about Mighty Number 9, I knew I was gonna back it. I knew I was gonna do everything I could to get it onto the 360 console. And I honestly had forgotten about Mega Man being in Super Smash Bros. For a little bit until I remembered it earlier today because I knew we were gonna be talking about this. And that's one thing that's really gonna hurt Capcom and tick them off is that. I'm sure 1,000 or more people have forgotten that Mega Man even is in this game because, this game.
I honestly had not thought about it.
Right.
Since the Mighty Number 9 came out.
Exactly.
I honestly had not thought about it.
So that's one thing that's gonna, if they do decide to do this is one thing that's gonna push them into it, is that they finally decide to say, hey, we're gonna throw Mega Man into a game, and then no one actually cares.
That's right.
I might disagree with that. I mean, that's a character that many gamers have grown up with, and that's kind of the cornerstone of the love that people are showing towards Mighty Number 9.
I agree that it's going to kill some of the hype. I don't think it's really going to kill the sales because Smash Brothers is such a beloved series for gamers.
Crowd. I mean,
it does.
You have your friends over. I mean,
exactly. It's a party game. It's a party game. So I don't think it's going to kill sales, but yeah, I think that aspect of it. It had a lot of hype around Mega Man being in it, and that it does kill the hype because now everybody's pumped about Mighty Number 9. So anyway, I think we can say we here at Gamefira are all pretty excited about Mighty Number 9. So what do you guys think? Leave us some replies in the comments section. Let us know what you guys think. Be sure again to go check out the website, www.gamefira.com. We've got the latest news from all around the internet. Check us out on Facebook. Just search for Gamefira. Twitter also at Gamefira. Just come hang out with us and tell us what you think. We do these kind of discussions on the site or on the Facebook and Twitter all the time. So join in the discussion with us. Anything you guys want to say before we sign off?
I miss our fans already.
Miss you guys.
Miss you guys. Bye.
I'm fine.
All right, guys. So, and also, let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, what we could do better. And like I said, we'll try to do this thing at least monthly, if not bi-monthly. And so I guess it's about time to go away the dodo. And we will see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Gamefira out.